Hey guys, Mike with Chassis Parts Online again. I did a video on these arms the other day, but it wasn't long enough, so I'm going to make another one on it today. We'll talk about some of the other stuff too. Basically, this is the wide lowers. It's basically called the wide lowers because of how wide it is in between here. These are 1 inch shorter. These are for Crown Vic. These are 1 inch shorter than stock. These use the same ball joints as a regular stock Crown Vic. That just got a wider plate here than the ones I normally do. Use the same bushings as all my arms. Has the same thing here, just wider. And it's got 2 tabs that come down pretty far. And as you see, they come at a taper. Okay. Now one side is just a hair taller than the other because on the factory Crown Vic, the strut is in there at a slight angle, okay? And you probably know why these are wider, and that is because they need to be wider for the coilovers to fit all the way down the side of there. Okay, so I got these cheap coilovers off of eBay just for mock-up here in my shop, okay? It's not even a nice coilover, really. But as you can see, if you put that in there, it fits down in there, spanner and all. Fits down in there from the bottom. You can see that. See there? Okay. That gives you a whole bunch more adjustment. That gives you to where you can, or it makes it where you can get really, really low with your vehicle and still have plenty of adjustment on the coilover and ride really, really well. Plus, even for guys that aren't going that low, you can adjust those coilovers up, and still have a really good ride. From what I understand, and I haven't tested these in my shop, Dennis Weingartner at Farm Truck Racing TX, this is the only ones he buys from me. He uses these on everything because he can adjust them up or down where he wants them, and these will fit as long as you're running an 18. Now, I've been told the 17s will fit, but it depends on the wheel. And that's because of that right there will get pretty close to the wheel, or did on the original factory version. The original version that I did, this was straight down and had longer tubes. That's why I tapered this in to make it narrower, make it clear wheels better. So keep that in mind. It's most likely going to be for 18s and larger wheels. But these will get you down where you need to go, give you all the adjustment. And just like all the rest of our stuff, they come with everything. There's the poly bushings they got it sitting on. And nowadays we use, it's a proprietary poly bushing. I get these made myself. I got tired of trying to buy the ones from Energy Suspension because sometimes you got a 10 to 12 week lead time to buy those before they get around to making them again. And they cost almost $5 a piece. Okay, so, and guess who pays for that? That's you guys. Okay, I got these these are actually a little bit harder than the Crown Vic ones. These are like an 85 hardness, basically. Plus, these have a straight through 1 inch sleeve, just like the Energy Suspension, except the Energy Suspension had a taper here on this backside, which we really don't need on these. They had a smaller hat. This is called the hat, this top part here. And this one here is a full quarter thick and a full quarter tall. In other words, it's the same as that tube right there. That tube that's DOM tube. That's 2.5 OD quarter wall, and that's 2.5 OD also. Quarter here and quarter thickness. So these are actually a better bushing than the Energy Suspension. The only thing these don't have that the Energy Suspension has is the graphite impregnation. Okay, so these will need a little bit of assembly lube to keep them squeaking. Okay, everything else is the same. These are the same ball joints, just like these. This is the same ball joint that fits the factory arms. So It's a K800141 or a K80141. That's right. These go up in, get pressed in just like the factory ones do. You want to use a little bit of anti-seize there and the inside here when you put those on. And once you put that in, there's a ring here. This ring goes on top. Once you put that in, that ball joint's going to stick up. There's a ring goes on top, and then your snap ring goes on top of that. Okay, and that's a stainless part, so you don't have to worry about powder coating it if you don't want to. It ain't going to rust. Along with everything else, all the washers. Basically, these washers go on either side of these bushings. When these are inside here, these have this washer. It goes inside there like that, one on each side. Okay, that is because this goes up against the slotted hole in the aluminum crossmember. Now, if you had just that poly bushing sitting against the slotted hole, what do you think is going to happen is that thing goes up and down? That's right, it would tear that bushing edge. It would tear that right there. So this sits against it, against the slotted hole, and that bushing rides on that stainless washer on both sides, okay? Which is good because it's nice and smooth. And again, it's stainless, so you don't have to paint these, don't have to powder coat them, okay? You got an inner sleeve that goes inside here, and your factory bolt can go through there, but these also come with 5/8, 5.5 bolts. These are grade 8. You don't really need grade 8 on something like that. You're not going to break a bolt that's in double shear, but we do them grade 8 anyway. The sleeve comes with them. We also got the cam washers. Got the big and the small. This goes on the head of the bolt. It goes in the small side, obviously, from the front to the back. And this one goes in the other side, okay? And then on this side here, to keep from scratching that up with your nut, we got a stainless 5/8 washer for there, okay? And then we've also got the bolt that goes in the back, right there. It's got two washers for each side, okay? And it's got a small washer right there to go on the end of that to keep tearing that up, okay? Now the nuts for the 5/8 bolts look like that. Those are lock nuts, and there's no nut on it though. They're squeezed basically. It's called a stover, or there's probably another name for it. But I also like using flange lock nuts. I don't like just a regular straight one, because that sits right against that flat washer like that. I mean, that's about as best you can get right there. I mean, it's way overkill, but hey, might as well do it, right? And these are all the things that I include in the box. On these now, I include a bolt for that too, okay? Because on the regular strut arms, which is what this box is for, I include this now. This is a 3.5-inch bolt. This goes through where the factory strut would go through on the strut version, strut or coilover version. So since I include these, I also include these spacers on that version. I didn't used to include these, but I do now. So I figured I'd do it on this. So when you open the box on these wide lowers, you're going to have 4 of these, 4 of these bolts, and 4 lock nuts, okay? You got your cam washers and everything in there. You got your washers for the back. You got your spacer here. You got your sleeves. You got your inner sleeves, and everything's right there, and it comes in a box. Usually this stuff's going to be in a shrink-wrapped bag like this that I've got a little deal to seal the ends. But if not, it'll be in a paper bag, like a lunch sack type paper bag, recyclable stuff. That's it for the wide arms. Basically, the reason these got etching primer on them, and yes, it is etching primer. because I do these bare metal, like this set of aluminum. I mean, sorry, that's the air ride version. They're bare metal, but it was raining this past weekend when I made these, so they had a little bit of light rust on them, so I had to go back and resand them. And so I put some etching primer on them, and that's how they'll go in the box. Any other questions you got on these? Post it on the YouTube page there, or just send me a message through the website, and I'll answer it. But you're going to like these, and this is not the only version of these that we sell. I mean, this can come in the version that's got, without this arm here, that's got a bushing right here. It's basically a sleeve like this, a 2 1/4 sleeve. See, that's almost the same, and it's like right over here, okay, in line with this, and eliminates that right there. Now, I haven't sold very many sets of those yet because not a lot of the guys go into that. So that's 2 different versions of that in the shorter version. Plus, I also sell these in stock length, so that's 2 other versions. So there's basically four different versions of this arm. Same thing with the bag arms. But I'm going to do a separate video on the bag arms here in just a minute, and I'll post that today too. Peace.